And darkness lasts a little bit longer. Pedestrians are at greater risk from high-speed corridors to poor lighting near bus stops. The numbers are heading in the wrong direction. Our Gridlock guy, Doug Turnbull, joins us now to dig into some of this new study tracking what's behind the rise in these, I'm going to call them accidents that take place, or at least I guess people are losing their lives on some of these dark roads, right?
Yeah, for sure. And Chesley, honestly, I hate the word accident because that implies that things just happen. All right, they certainly are categorized as that by police and people that investigate them, but honestly, they're crashes. And of course, it's weird to call a car versus a person or a person on a bicycle a crash. But what's going on is we've seen as traffic crashes have ebbed and flowed, pedestrian incidents have actually risen at a much higher rate. And I dug into a study, I know that you and I have talked about this. I dug into a study. Since 2009, there's been an 80% increase in pedestrian fatalities on United States roads and only a 13% increase in traffic fatalities since then. So think about it. While the numbers have gone up and down, it's actually been much worse for pedestrians, and there are a lot of reasons for that.
What would be the reason now? And we talked about it's getting darker, that kind of thing. It's probably harder to see. Is that this time of year, or is it just overall?
Well, I think that the studies have shown that pedestrians are something around 80% more likely to be hit, that 80 number again, but to be hit when it's dawn or dusk, no matter what the time of year is. And then now we have more dark hours, so just in theory, with especially a bunch of cars on the road, we're in the middle of the fall semester, and in theory, it would be more dangerous for them. But we've seen numbers over the years, regardless of time of year. There are a lot of people on foot and a lot of distracted drivers, and I think that plays into it.
I was going to ask you that. Is it more of a matter of the driving practices and behaviors, or is it more of the pedestrians?
So this is a controversial thing. All right, and I've written the Gridlock Guy column for 8 years in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Now it's at 11alive.com as well. And I wrote an article one time about pedestrian safety being a two-way street. And the pedestrian advocacy crowd, or the urbanist crowd, really got upset with me. And they helped me actually reform my opinion about it and my take on that, because while it is a two-way street, pedestrians can walk distracted, can cross in the wrong places, can be erratic. They are much more likely to be hurt when hit by a car than the driver is. They're not protected by airbags and glass and all of that. And of course, there's the difference in speed. So I would argue that drivers have more safety or more responsibility, rather, because of that.
What made people most upset about what you had to say?
For just that, because they're like, hey, if you're saying that we have equal responsibility, we're the ones on foot, and we're more likely to get hurt.
Yeah. The laws are that the pedestrian has the right of way. Is that always the case?
So the pedestrian always has the right of way. We should always drive that way. But obviously there are times, and Rachel Cox Rosen and I have covered several pedestrian incidents in September, and at least 2 of the 4 times that I'm referencing in my column that'll be this Sunday on 11alive.com, at least 2 of the 4 times the pedestrians were at fault. Now there are times where drivers, of course, should just drive like and be deference to pedestrians, but they're not necessarily going to get a ticket if somebody crosses the wrong way in front of them. But that doesn't mean as drivers you should just assume, well, they were illegal. You should always be driving the way you'd want people to drive around you if you were on foot.
Yeah. What's going to make this change? What's going to take place, or what do you think has to take place to make us more aware? Either way.
Yeah, for sure. I really think we, as drivers, whether we're interacting with other cars or people, have to be less selfish and have to be more cognizant and have to be more patient. As Cheryl Pram, when she was in for you last week, we talked about patience and the same behavior around school buses, because there's been a large increase in school bus crashes the last few years. Yeah. It's the same thing here. We are more distracted than ever. Compare those numbers to 2009 when iPhones and smartphones were new. But distraction is only one part of it. Patience too.
I'm going to give you a curveball here. Throw in a driverless car. We get more and more of those.
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to be safer?
Yeah, and to keep it real quick, driverless cars in the end will probably end up being safer. But as the bugs are getting worked out, everybody needs to be more careful around them in cars or on foot.
Absolutely. All right, Doug Turnbull, our Gridlock guy here joining us. Thanks for the insight.
Honored to be here, sir.
Appreciate it.